And now, our feature presentation.
Okay, when I was editing it, I kept hearing this noise, this, and I couldn't figure out what it was for the longest time. And I think the microphone picked it up, but you didn't hear it. That sound was you scratching your beard. Last time we recorded, every time you leaned in, you would, like, scratch in there. It was like... And I'm like, what is that noise?
It was definitely becoming a tick. Because I caught myself doing that at work. I was literally, like, stroking it like a wizard at work, staring at my computer screen like, oh, this is an untold mystery I must solve.
I get like that whenever I grow out the mustache. And I always, like, just push down the mustache.
I mean, as you can obviously see, I mean, listeners can't, but as you can see,
as
I shaved it.
You did.
Trimmed it way down, got it. I mean, I have stubble now, so I look like a trash can of a human, but... It got to the point where the mustache would not stay out of my mouth, so I'm just constantly, like, gumming my own mustache, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill someone! I'm gonna freaking kill someone!
I hate that. Like, I get, like, girls that shave their legs and, you know, shave their armpits and they get upset, but, like, the upper lip, man. Like,
I can't.
Mustaches are cool, but, man, when that hair comes out and it starts to curl under and, like, pokes you in your teeth and gum, it's gross.
Oh, well, I felt really, like, I looked in the mirror afterwards and I was really sad. I was like, damn, I look so much better with a beard.
Everyone looks better with a beard because it hides all the chins.
That's why I kept what little I have. I'm like, at least it makes my face look like it has definition and it doesn't just, my chin doesn't just devolve into my neck.
Yeah. And I need to shave too, speaking of that. And now I'm scratching, so I'll probably pick that up. It is picking that up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just be mindful. Don't do that.
I'll just, like, sit on my hands now or so. All right, I'll have to, like, put them in my pocket. I'm also, that probably just gave everybody, like, vertigo because I kept going back and forth on the, but it was like, oh, we're gonna pretend last episode didn't happen, everybody. I was truly sleep deprived.
Sleep deprived. Truly sleep deprived.
I'm really sorry. I don't know how long we talked about poop for, but
it was editing it. It was a very long time. And then I'm envious of your position because you're the guy who just has to provide a voice. You don't have to edit it. When I edit it, I have to pretty much relive this whole experience over again. Now on the benefits, I can, like, I don't know, insert something really stupid into the middle of whatever and, you know, haha, I edited that in, but...
I mean, to be fair, everybody, if in the non-existent profits, Brandon gets 95% of them because he does 95% of the work.
But also, I mean, there's a joy in not making any money from it because I can literally put...
You just put a dagger in my shill heart.
I know I did, but I can literally put this... Well, after I explain it, then I'll put it in. I can literally put this into the middle of this section and have no repercussions because of the Creative Commons law or whatever it's called.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's home to me, and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. The second mission on me, couldn't hold me back. They couldn't rip it off. Taking their time up behind my back. I walk alone, I walk alone. Into the sun at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind the cyclone line. I'm in the house. Here it comes. Extra, extra, vidal.
sound from all around. But from around the world, come and get it. The line goes around like a merry-go-round.
そんなんじゃダメもうそんなんじゃほら心は進化するよもっともっと How many shrimps do you have to eat before you make your skin turn pink? Eat too much and you'll get sick. Shrimps are pretty rich.
When worlds collide, you'll laugh so hard you'll swear you died. When worlds collide, hold my hand, I'll be your guide. When worlds collide, buckle up for the sweetest ride and prepare to have your mind blown wide. When worlds collide, when
because I'm counting no A's. Nah, I couldn't be there. Nah, you shouldn't be scared. I'm good at repair, and I'm
shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment. Would you capture it? Or just let it slip?
So make it
artists, you know, let them see that you're good. This song has been my mortal enemy for about 4 years now.
That's right. If you don't charge anything, you can use whatever you want, can't you?
Exactly. As like artistic expression or something along those lines. It's a lot more in-depth, but that's the basis of it.
Screw you, copyright. I can do what I want. I'm not making any money.
I make no money, and that thing you just heard, no.
We just need to put a
absolutely no consequence. Obviously, in the show notes, I'm going to put where I got that from so you can enjoy it too.
We need to put like a monologue from Leonardo DiCaprio just randomly in one of these episodes.
I mean, that's a joy of editing. I could just put it in right now.
And you just get a DM from Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I know the law prevents me from having you take this down, but be warned, I will destroy you.
I always wanted to get a bunch of sound clips from a actor, someone big. Right. Okay. Matthew McConaughey.
He has the craziest out of context quotes. Actually, he has the craziest in context quotes. Have you heard any of the ads he's done?
He's done some wild ads.
Listen to him speak at all. All of that and like characters he's played over the years. I think he just doesn't know how to not be them in his day-to-day life.
He absorbs the character so much that he just 100% becomes the character. And then it's just all these different split personalities into one Matthew McConaughey.
He wrote a book, I think it was called like Red Light, Green Light, or just Green Light or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that one. He wrote another book that's like almost like a inspirational or self-help
book. That's what it was. Yeah, it was talking about.
It's on Audible all the time. They keep screaming at me to get it.
Okay, maybe I got the title wrong or something. He's just talking about that.
I never noticed the title, but I always just see that man, just his face, that chiseled, beautiful face.
There's a podcast that like, I mean, they're obviously like, he's super successful, so it's just funny to like poke fun at him because they're like, clearly he's better than we are because he's a super famous actor and rich as hell.
Right.
But they're constantly just like playing these clips and they're like, the hell is he even talking about?
What I would like to do is take clips, all of his voice clips from movies, TV, anything, right? And then have him be a quote-unquote guest, and we interact with him, and he talks to us. But it's obviously
that would be wonderful.
Not really him. It's just all the voice clips that we ask him a question, and he says something really out of context, and we're just like, yes, very interesting, indeed, yes. And he talks about, I don't know, one of the random car commercials he did, or the cologne. So, welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast. We got 6 minutes in and never said that. Nope. Actually, it's probably been further because of that crap I put in the beginning. Yeah, this is going to be a wild one. This is going to be truly a wild episode.
Last one was kind of like low energy, mixed in with a little bit of manic.
Yeah, it was just me surviving Eric's nonsense.
I truly don't remember what I said, and I'm going to be blatantly honest, I did not listen to that episode because I did not want to hear what I said.
It's not bad. It's not terrible. You know, there's only a few episodes I cite as really terrible, like the one when we were both really hammered. That one.
That one had a special place in my heart, though.
Yeah.
I mean, for the listeners, it was probably terrible, but for us, that was a fun night.
Yeah. But yeah, for the listeners, it was not enjoyable. I could just like listening to it the next day. I was just like,
my wife still asked me. She's like, I didn't come in there and say anything stupid, didn't I? And every time I'm like, Brandon just cut you out. I wouldn't worry.
oh yeah, I just cut her completely out. Just whoosh. I'm like, get that out of here. Yeah.
No girls on this podcast. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, we got Carly. She's the only girl so far. We'll get more.
Your father friend. Way back.
Way back. That's right. So we have two girls on the... I don't remember. My mind is Swiss cheese. Things come and go, and nothing really retains. So I was thinking about this, right? I wanted to do an episode talking about things we really liked from our childhood, right? And the thing I could identify that me absolutely loving as a child, and I think up to the point where I was way too old for it, way too old for it, was Thomas the Tank Engine, or as the people know it now, Thomas and Friends, because I guess Tank Engine, no one knows what that is because they're dumb. But I wanted to do an episode talking about things we liked as a kid. Thomas Tank Engine would be mine. I was the train kid. You know, you got the horse girl in school, you got the car guys. You like
trains.
Yes, I like trains. And
guy after guy type of.
Oh yeah, okay, that's where you get in the face. You're sitting there thinking.
I was sitting here waiting for quietly for 2 minutes. I'm like, just say the word train. Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
I like train. I
know it's a bad joke, but damn, I like waiting.
Trains being run on me.
Or watching them. Either or. If you're into the cuck thing,
right. It's like, instead of a bunch of hunky men just going to town on each other's holes, it's just like one dude laying there naked and a bunch of other dudes with just Thomas the Train toys just running them on his body. And they're going, woo woo! Oh no.
They're coming for me.
I don't know if it picked that up, but there was
probably not, because every time I reference any noise outside, it never happens.
So there was like a siren that went by. It's like woo 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 woo.
Well, to be fair, there was a power outage here earlier, and a bunch of, I guess, trees and stuff came down, and they were working just down the road. So I'm assuming somebody tried to, I don't know, probably blow through one of the areas they had blocked off and hit something. But
probably. That's
people around here are real stupid.
Yeah. Back to running train. Back to running train. So I just imagine all these just ripped dudes laying on the bed naked, and he just has a full-on erection with a little top hat on there, and that's the conductor, and he's like, all aboard! All the trains are lining up at the station.
I really hope it's just a dozen naked ripped dudes, just like you said, just putting a little toy over him, and then the wife walks in and just does the classic, just slow. Everybody just stops and stares. Then she just shuts the door. All
over the guy's body, he has tattoos of a train station, like those kids' play mats that they had. You know what I'm talking about? It's the top down.
I had those as a kid.
Yeah, I had those too.
Those are so cool.
It's just completely tattooed on this guy's body, and everyone's just running trains on him.
What? You just hear lightly after the wife closes the door, "I'll be out in a minute, honey."
And the guy's just like, all aboard! All the guys are like, woo, woo!
Yeah, just a dozen voices, woo, woo!
All these muscular guys, in a fraternity going, woo, 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 woo. Just running train, and then comes out and he's like, listen, that's how we do things here at Alpha Sigma Sigma, alright? It spells
Steven,
ass.
you're 40!
Yo,
you have children and a mortgage!
It's Alpha Sigma Sigma, it runs deep, honey. You don't understand.
Why did you not tell me you were gay? Honey, I'm not gay. I just like trains.
We're running trains. This is what we're doing.
You had a very different experience in college than I did. That is not what happened when I ran train. I know, but wait, what?
The door he comes out is a jar open, and the kid comes up and peeks at it. He's like, "Are we playing with trains?" Runs to his room, comes back with a train, and he's like, "Trains!" All the guys are like, "Woo, woo, woo, woo."
Still just naked in the background.
Like, there's nothing sexual about it. Nothing at all. But it's just, they're all like, trains! So this little kid just joins in and playing trains.
Oh, no.
That could go bad places.
I did went to a bad place. We're just going to move on. We're going to a very bad place.
So, yeah, I was a train guy, right? I was the one train guy in school. I just loved trains.
Question. I think that's actually, a lot of people do like trains. That's a pretty big hobby. I mean, almost doxed us. There's a road where, the train tracks run right by.
Yeah.
I see people down there all the time. So, like, grown men, like, in their 50s and 60s, just, like, train spotting as stuff comes by.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, there's that line where it is, it's fun to have a hobby like that, and you're like, I just like watching the trains, It's some little self-care, simple stuff, right? I don't think you understand how much I like trains. I had everything in my room was trains as a child.
Yeah, that just made you super easy to shop for as a child. I bet your parents were
oh
like,
my gosh,
birthdays and Christmas, like...
The thing is, they still have all the trains. And when my niece comes over, they will bring out the box of trains, and my niece is building a train track, and I walk over, and she's like, "Yo, you want to play?" I'm like, "That's fine." What I do is I assemble that train station where it is running like a stopwatch. Every gear, every part of the train track, every part of everything is a well-oiled machine, and it is constantly going. She picks up a track, she's like, "I want to put this here," and I'm like, you listen here, child.
You beat me to it. I was like, all I can imagine is you just coming in and just like face palming her, like out of the way. You're what, 6'4"?
Yes.
You're 6'4", pushing like, how old's your niece?
She is going to be 4, so...
Oh, I was right. I was going to say, just pushing your little 4-year-old niece, just boom. You suck at this. Why would you put, this is not a stop. This is not a good place to put a stop. This is going to cause congestion. No.
How is this train going to turn around?
You didn't even put a loop in for them to pull off, to drop the passengers off. Why would you do this?
The track doesn't go anywhere. It just goes into a pile of just junk.
You trying to recreate 310 to Yuma?
310 to Yuma. Okay.
I couldn't think of another train movie.
Train to Busan.
I've never seen any of these movies.
Oh, Train to Busan. It's a zombie movie that takes place on a train. It's actually really cool.
Is it streaming?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think.
Hell yeah. I've been on a zombie kick, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah. It's a foreign film, so it's all subtitles. But I mean,
foreign films are sometimes way better.
I just threw that out there because sometimes I know it's like, I don't watch TV to read, mister. Like, we've thrown that argument before. So back to my train obsession. Like, I train everything. My birthday train, clothes, trains. Everything was about Thomas the Tank Engine, right? There was even a time in school when I received a Valentine from a girl who, we both, maybe sometimes we shared a juice box. Maybe we shared some cookies, we were kind of
old school charm.
I know, we were kind of sweet on each other. And she gives me a Valentine, and I open it up and I look at it and I'm like, you stupid bitch. What is this? A heart? Where is the train?
Oh.
I have standards. I'm not going to sit here and take a Valentine without a Thomas the Tank Engine on it. And I threw it in her face, and she went away crying. And I'm sitting there.
When I thought it was going to be a Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, it wasn't, and that's why I was upset.
The story was going to be like, that's the first boner you ever got.
No, that is definitely not. I do have a story about that, though. The first boner I ever got. It was a very monumentous moment.
I remember the exact second I hit puberty. But also, we can talk about that.
No, we're doing it now because we won't come back to it if we don't do it now. So the train story, yeah, we'll have to wait. All right.
Oh, me first?
Yeah,
okay.
You go first.
All right. So I was probably young. Well, I don't know. What's 9? Is that too early? 9, 10 for puberty?
Dude, puberty gets earlier and earlier every year. So it
was one of those ages. But anyway, back when good old Pierce Brosnan was playing James Bond.
Oh, okay. All
we
right.
were just at a friend's house. His parents were there. It's not like we were like, oh, we got this movie, we're not supposed, blah, blah. We were just all sitting there watching it, which is why I like going to his friend's house, is because they didn't care what we watched, unlike my strict parents.
Dude, those are some good parents. I like how you cover your cough and you're like trying to hide it. I'm like,
it's this stupid weather. It keeps going back and forth. And I feel sick. So anyway, guys, you're just gonna have to put up with my raspy voice. Sorry, it's probably better than my normal squeaky voice, anyways.
Probably.
But,
yeah, it is.
But now I sound, pretty low and sexy. Anyway, getting back to the story. It was the end of it. They were like trying to keep an eye on. It was the end of the movie. He did whatever. I don't even remember what movie it was, but they finished it. And they're like, where's Bond? And they're like, well, we were tracking him, but he's inside a building. And they're like, well, put on some satellite that registers heat, and so you could track bodies. And they're like, I thought you said he was recovered or something like that. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, his temperature is burning up. It's almost like there's two bodies there. And it's like this giant red spot. And then you see him roll off the girl in the bed. And at that point, I just remember looking at him like, what's happening down there?
What?
And from that day forth, I've been your typical sex-obsessed crazy guy.
Because of that moment. And that is...
I can't remember what happened yesterday. I can remember this moment from over 20 years ago. That is how impactful that the light bulb went on where I was like, oh hey, you're good for something else.
Oh man, what else do you do?
I look down, I'm like,
you can stand?
That's why I laugh so hard in movie when like kids look down, they're like, I have a funny feeling now. I'm like, I laugh because that was me as a kid.
My situation, my story. All right. I was in a GameStop.
Also, please edit that story out. I can't believe I just told that. No, don't. It can stay.
I was about to figure out a way to tell you that I'm not doing that because I already have so much editing to do with that crap at the beginning that I'm like
so politely like, Eric.
No.
It's staying.
No. I really think I'll top yours. Okay. So there were 2 times when there was a big moment that was a mark in the timeline of Brandon, right? So the first time in a GameStop, I'm looking at some games. It was a Black Friday, when you actually used to go out and go to places.
Oh, the dark days.
My mom, that was in the before times. I thought those days were awesome. So I got dropped off at the GameStop. My mom drove around and, just leaves me there for like half an hour. She's like, I'm running this place. And
the 90s?
Yeah. This was like mid 2000s. No, it was like 2001.
I say it was
2002. It was very early, and like GameStop was kind of like, I think it was right around that time. GameStop was kind of becoming more of a thing, and maybe it was even later than that. I was very much a late bloomer. Okay, so I'm just doing my thing, looking at some games, and this woman walks in. Now, this woman was bigger, voluptuous, if you will.
Curvy.
Yes, pear-shaped, but the pear was like covered in bumps and boils. But it was, very
Big.
large woman, more to love, right?
It's a big lady, but she has big assets.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So she comes walking in.
The term for that for our listeners is BBW.
BBW.
Google that, but make sure your parents aren't around.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for throwing that on the end. She comes walking in, and she's wearing this top that has a circle cut out right in the middle.
Yeah.
So instead of like the V-neck that has like...
I already can picture this
Yes.
woman.
So like instead of the V-neck where it shows cleavage, it's just a circle right there that shows
But if it's too
cleavage.
Small...
So just listen. So I'm sitting there. And I am looking at a game, and I put it down, and I turn around, and I have to do a double take because this woman's breast is like pulled to the side and her nipple's sticking out. And I'm just sitting there, my awkward, 10, 11, 12, that range kid.
It's in the wild. I'm seeing it.
I become a caveman. I'm like,
just grab the nearest game, smashing over another kid's head. It's mine, no.
And the kid's like, dude, why? So I saw that, also. And her friend comes walking in, and her friend notices, looks over to her friend, and she screams at her friend. It's like, girl, you got your tit hanging out. And the girl's like, oh shit, and pushes it back in. And by the time this whole exchange was done, and they just kept going on like it was their business, I'm sitting there with like the flagpole raised,
because you're a kid and you have hormones.
And I'm just sitting there like I don't know.
You're lucky you didn't like go everywhere, all over the GameStop. Paint the town white.
There's all this fluid coming out of me. I'm sorry, GameStop. All over their games, I like start opening the cases and depositing a bunch in.
You're like, it won't stop. I gotta put it away somewhere.
And the guy's like trying to give me a trash can.
The guy's standing behind the counter, just completely impassive. He's like, "Are you gonna do anything?" He goes, "This happens like once a week." These kids, man, today, I don't know what's in the water, but
I'm just people are slipping on it.
That got me. That one got me.
Some old lady coming in to get her piece of shit grandson some kind of game, and she doesn't know what it's called, and is going to ask a million questions of the guy at the counter.
Thomas just likes blood. She's in the face.
And then she slips on it, and she's like, my hip. And she's like doing like donuts on the floor, like you're running around. It's like, you know, that thing where it's like whoop, 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 running, but she's like trying to move and it's just in a circle. Yeah. What really happened was I was so embarrassed that I just stood in the back by like the older retro games, but they were still kind of the newer games, like the N64 games, whatever. I like stood in the corner and waited for that thing to go down.
There's nothing else you can do. You're just,
my gosh.
Might be 5 minutes, might be 2 hours. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that just brought back a wave of memories. I'm like half-mast right now.
Yeah. I'm after your description of that story, I was too. Do you ever watch on Netflix Big Mouth?
No. Everyone tells me to watch it. I can't stand the animation style. I've watched some of it.
The animation's a little weird.
I do not connect with the show.
Oh, I did, and that's why I was like, I watched it, and my wife, she found it hilarious, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, ugh, so many painful memories. Turn it off. And she's like, it hit home, because obviously these are exaggerated stories, but a lot of that is how it felt, and I'm like,
yeah,
wow. I don't think I want kids anymore because they are disgusting little bastards.
Oh my gosh, knowing the nonsense I got up to as a kid coming out of the train kid phase, which, like I said, that ended a lot later than it should have.
And yeah, trains are a lifelong hobby.
I love
Or was it Thomas the Train?
Oh, it was Thomas the Train. Trains were cool, but Thomas the Train was better.
Yeah, he was a talking train.
He was a talking train, and I love the idea of a talking train. So, that was that was a really good circle back, actually.
It was. I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, damn, he did that.
We went on a tangent, but we came back.
See, we can come back to our original stories sometimes.
Sometimes, maybe, probably not all the time. So, get off my back. All right, so let's talk about...
Can I get you a ladder so you can get off my back? All right, I'm done, I swear.
So let's get back to Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh. No, go. I'll save it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you save it. Whatever you were going to say, I was just going to be, you just shut up. You shut your mouth. So I did a little research as an adult looking at Thomas the Train, because there's been some whispers and rumors of Thomas the Train what the hell? It's one of those ads where they will play a video on the bottom, and there's like some person in the dark trying to eat someone, and it caught my attention, and I'll look over and I'm like, what is that? So Thomas the Tank Engine has always had these whispers and rumors of it actually being very dark and very dystopian and strange, right? And I did a little research, and I found some articles that really encapsulates everything, because I've even watched a lot of the old series. So I'm just throwing out there that some of the themes are going to be authoritarian, totalitarian. There's also themes of genocide in Thomas the Tank Engine.
Can I just guess? Is he like a Nazi? Is that the theory?
We'll get into that. Let's get started. All right.
Right on the nose.
So most children and some adults remain in ignorance of many dark Thomas the Tank Engine moments. Despite the evolution of Thomas the Tank Engine to Thomas and Friends, the strange but revealing description of these animated steam engines is in the intro lyrics. They are the really useful crew. Let's try that again, because I can't read because I'm stupid. They are the really useful crew, all with different roles to play. Remember that. Very important. And also we're like literally pulling a Lore Boys and having a Thomas the Tank Engine lore video. So, okay. So let's give a little background. In the 1940s, and man, words are freaking hard. So a clergyman, my brain just stopped, and it was like, oh, I don't know what that word is. So a clergyman by the name of Wilbur Awdry created Thomas the Tank Engine, which takes place in a fictional world full of sentient steam engines, trains, and cars that seek to please their leader and contribute to their island of Sodor.
Wait, is he a Catholic clergyman?
Something like that, yes.
Oh, no.
It's charming on the surface, but a closer inspection of the story reveals nonconformist train engines that suffer from punishment and public shaming. So the one episode I watched, the train didn't do a job good enough. So what they do to this guy is that they put this train into this kind of, it was this closed off tunnel, but there was still one end in it. So it was just kind of like this glorified little train port or whatever. They put him in there. They pull up the rails in front of him. And then they put a brick wall up to his eye level. And they're just like, you didn't work good enough today. You're living there now. Maybe if we need you, we'll bring you back out. And then in recurring episodes, like trains would pass him and say hello. And he was still there.
Whoa.
He did get out, though. However, at some point, they did get him out because they're like, oh, we actually have a use for you now. So come back out. Now, it's not said like this, but it's said in a very nice British way. Let's say that.
All right, mate. Are you ready to get out of that hole now?
You said mate, but then you went into a British accent.
I can't just, I'm not in the, I gotta be drunk to do the accent.
So, the island of Sodor represents Awdry's need for order. So Wilbur Awdry grew up with an interest of both trains and religion. His father was a vicar in Ampfield, located in Hampshire, New England. When Awdry was 3 years old, his brother Carl enlisted as a World War I officer, and just 13 days after he joined, Carl lost his life on the field. It's kind of important because there's a little bit of this strange backstory for Thomas that involves World War I.
In the show?
Let's just continue. Let's continue. There's a lot to unpack here.
You are making me want to watch this show as an adult.
It's a child show. I watched most of the first season. Also, there's pocket dimensions. Okay. So we're
getting into quantum physics now?
We got a lot to cover, dude. We got a lot to cover. So, all right.
Let me just brush my doctorate off, and then we can get into this.
So Carl's passing brought the family to Wiltshire from Ampfield as Awdry's grief-stricken father felt their hometown reminded too much of the loss. He earned a degree in theology, Awdry did in 1933, and continued to work for the church until his retirement in 1965. He lived a very structured life, and often deferred to hierarchy of authority. He's a big guy on authority, big guy on order, and you never question anyone. For instance, when he expressed his disapproval of World War II, his church's... Wait, no, it's probably the other way around. I'm jumping all over the place because I found this article and it just blew my mind. For instance, when he expressed his disapproval of World War II, his church's bishop dismissed him from the parish. Despite this, Awdry went to work at another church. He lived both through World War I, World War II, which also coincide with the end of the British Empire. Many theorize that the island of Sodor, Thomas's home, represents a still-standing British Empire, where efficiency and obedience remain key to survival. So he was like a guy who was like, you have to listen to your leaders and stuff like that. But then, there were some times where it was like, I don't agree in World War I, and they're just like, get out of the church, loser.
Was that really a big thing over in Great Britain? England?
What, trains?
Order? Like structure, hierarchy, order, know your place in society?
I believe kind of in the way of like the British Empire.
Oh man, no wonder they hate Americans.
But I'm just collecting all this information from this article, and it kind of lined up with a lot of other stuff I saw, and it kind of like gives a backstory, and then we go into it. All right, so Audrey appeared to find comfort in order, and thus modeled his fictional world to operate entirely according to set schedules. And the original reason he created it, because his son was sick all the time, and he wanted to create him stories, right? So stories he could enjoy. So that's where it kind of stemmed from.
Generally create stories off, what you know and love.
So every engine on Sodor is obsessed with being useful. There is literally an episode where there is this old tractor, right? And this old tractor is aware that the next day he is being scrapped, which means they cannibalize him, use whatever pieces they can, and the rest they just chuck into the junkyard.
When did this show air?
Dude, we're just scratching the surface. You have too many questions for right now.
I'm sorry, but this breeds too many questions. You are going to show children that once you are no longer useful, we're going to rip you limb from limb.
I mean, are they wrong?
No, old people are kind of left to die here in this country.
So on Sodor, every engine... So, all right, back to the tractor. So that tractor was aware that his, he was going to be executed the next day.
They couldn't even kill him, just silently, stare at the sunset, old man.
I mean, they did, they didn't show it, but
Man, that would have been metal if they did.
Dude, he was made of metal.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they did tear him apart. On Sodor, every engine and car hopes to achieve usefulness. Many times, the engines even remind each other to work hard and be useful. There's a common theme throughout the shows where it says, I hope you can be very useful. And that...
Don't be a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah. There is one episode where they, one of the trains, they turn into a generator. Because they were like, we don't have a use for you, but, you could help us out by doing this. And the train's like, oh, don't scrap me, please. I'll be useful. I'll do whatever you want. And then it became a generator.
Oh, God, no!
Sir Topham Hatt, which is a guy who runs the station. And actually, I think this is... All right, so to get into this even more, there are 3 different canons. There is the book series Thomas the Tank Engine. There is the TV series Thomas the Tank Engine, which is considered like the railroad canon. And then there was the Thomas and Friends canon.
Which is probably the nice, clean version.
That one has the pocket dimension. That the island of Sodor resides in a pocket dimension because of the first steam train ever built. Also, that's where the genocide comes in.
I'm so confused.
So we're gonna keep going.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully, Sir Topham Hatt reminds the trains that lazy and unproductive convoys end up in the scrapyard. As a result, individuality remains in short supply on Sodor. Trains live in constant fear and anxiety, so they dare not to express their personal thoughts or ideas. Instead, they toe the line of a brainwashed leader who pushes usefulness as the pinnacle of existence.
Heil Hitler!
I mean,
oh my gosh, it sounds like Nazis.
All right, so you do that. All right, look at this picture of him from the show.
He looks like a Nazi, just in a top hat.
And he is raising his arm in that way.
Yeah, like he's saluting. Laziness will not be tolerated.
So, all right, Audrey's apparent appreciation of order and obedience seemingly spilled over from his life as a clergyman to his work in fiction. So Thomas the Tank Engine, the titles of his railway series, indicates a preference for order. Entries like troublesome engines and troublesome trucks suggest that those who act out of line, either by going on strike or being a lesser freight car, are more hassle than they're worth.
Whoa. Yeah, that sounds like the Catholic Church.
As punishment for causing trouble, superiors dish out some horrifying forms of discipline. And I talked about this one earlier. For example, in the episode entitled Come Out, Henry, which, you know, they were saying, like, come out of that little house we put you in, the title character Henry refuses to leave a train tunnel to work, fearing the rain will ruin his green paint. Consequently, in the English version, Sir Topham Hatt takes Henry's tracks forever. So takes the tracks away from him forever, leaving Henry spending the rest of his life in the tunnel. Unsurprisingly, facets from Audrey's life has a clergyman. And I like how the article just... he's in there forever.
They killed this train, but we're just going to brush past that.
Yeah. Life as a clergyman, a professional enshrined in a profession enshrined in hierarchy, entered his work. Audrey's characters live within a rigid structure. In the Railway series, the engines... Yeah, I said the Railway series, or like the Railroad series. That's what I meant by it. That's like the TV series.
The original TV show, Thomas the Tank
Engine. The engines are the big dogs. And the freight cars are apparently their subordinates. The freight cars, known as the troublesome trucks or foolish freight cars, frequently play tricks on the engines and generally take it easy. The thing is, I literally watched an episode where all these little freight cars just wanted to screw over this train, right? So he is just, just the group of them, they all kind of have the same high-pitched voice, like, devise a plan, but that plan means that they get killed too. They do not care about their life. They're like, as long as we take a train down with us, we are happy. And their idea was to push the train off into the water where they would die, because trains can breathe in this universe. Because there's an episode where a train accidentally pushes another train into the water, and he thought he drowned him. The train got out in some weird way. But they all thought the train was dead because he drowned.
So they're just sitting there like, we're going to topple the tyranny of this fascist government.
No, that is not even it. They just do it for shits and giggles. They like the way things are. They're just like, we're gonna be chaos. We're gonna be chaotic evil. Oh. So okay. Let me find where I was reading. They're
just lemmings running at
They are
train
lemmings. They're
to push it over a cliff. Yeah. I'm gonna ask again. When the hell was this show on TV?
This was when I was like young, like a kid. Like
that's not Thomas and Friends.
90s.
This is Thomas the Tank Engine. What moron took a 1940s book series created by a psychopathic Catholic priest?
All right, the thing is, if you were watching,
it was like, let's do it.
All right, I've thrown it out there. The show's actually super cool to watch because it's half stop motion,
because it's dark as hell. It's like an R-rated movie, but with bright colors and no swearing.
So if you were to watch this show without any context, you're like, it's a kid's show. They all work together. Knowing this context of the guy's life before and then the themes in the show's a lot darker.
No, I'm going to disagree. If I walk by and I'm looking in and I see a freaking train with just his eye sticking over a wall and I ask my kid, what's up with that? And they're just like, he wasn't useful enough, so they bricked him up. All right, Timmy, you're going to go outside and play. Here's a football. Go.
The kid has no limbs. And
I want to see him die. Timmy, get outside.
He's not useful anymore. Audrey often portrays the superiors punishing the less powerful for insubordination, including the story of S.C. Ruffy, a freight car. After S.C. Ruffy annoys Oliver, a Great Western tank engine, the freight car gets pulled apart. Like, they put chains on either side of him. I watched this episode. And they just rip him in half.
He was drawn and quartered?
Yeah.
That is not a kid's... I don't care what the context is.
Okay. When Sir Topham Hatt discovers this, instead of punishing Oliver, he asks him to keep it a secret, as it would be bad for discipline if word got out. The trucks end up respecting Oliver out of fear they'll meet a similar fate.
What? That is some old school medieval
shit.
Drawn and quartered was a real punishment that they did to people. In case any of our listeners aren't super nerdy and know medieval keel hauling was even worse, but that's for another episode. But what?
On Sodor, characters get disciplined with public humiliation. Humiliation? God, words are hard.
We're stone cold sober, guys, by the way.
I'm just stupid. The hierarchy of Sodor supports the ways in which Audrey doles out punishment in his Railway series. Characters who dare step out of line are frequently pointed out as examples getting subjected to public humiliation. In one episode of Thomas and Friends, so this did carry over into the Thomas of Friends canon, the Engine Duke tells the tale of Smudger, a tank engine. Smudger lived proudly and almost derailed himself quite a bit, because Smudger never listened to Sir Topham Hatt. The Sodor authorities removed his wheels and turned him into a generator. That's the generator one. I was like kind of like I was watching all these and like picking from the episodes I was recommended to watch. So that was the one where he became
a generator is just like chemical reactions going on. So
in your body.
All I can imagine is them just holding him down, just shoving beakers into his mouth, and just swallow it as he's just screaming in agony and pain. God! I promise all this. I don't want to be a chef.
It's like a beer bong, and the ripped dudes from earlier are just like, just pouring it down. And he's like, please stop. The engines are unable to fight Sodor's system. While Sir Topham Hatt's metaphorically dangles carrots for the engines, such as giving them extra chores or pulling special freight, he also makes sure that every engine knows its place.
Slaves?
Probably on the tracks. On Sodor, it doesn't matter how precious freight an engine pulls, as a freight car will always be just that. And Sir Topham Hatt will always be on top. When engines try to fight this system, Sir Topham Hatt harshly rebukes them. In Trouble in the Shed, I remember this one, engines Gordon, James, and Henry go on strike. Rather than listening to their demands, Sir Topham Hatt hires a scab to pull their weight while locking the three engines away for insubordination. He warns the rest of Sodor not to follow in their footsteps, lest they suffer the same fate. By the end of the episode, the three engines feel foolish for their actions, rather than horrified by their unfair treatment.
Please tell me there's some like resistance group that does guerrilla warfare.
Maybe it.
I don't care what it takes. I don't care how long it did. Guys, give us money. I have a new goal in life. I want to buy the rights to this, and this is going to be a new show on Adult Swim. Thomas the Tank Engine, but there is going to be guerrilla warfare again. Is Topham Hatt the only human on the island?
No, there's other humans. There's a bunch of other humans. The thing is, Sir Topham...
Good. They're going to be run over and cut in half. This is going to be like Castlevania level gore, but with Thomas the Tank Engine and Thomas and Friend. Like, I want the money to buy the rights to this. We're going to just destroy this legacy. Or I'm sorry, we're going to make it bloom.
I think every canon and every series, it's a different Sir Topham Hatt. Because in the one series, I forget which one it was, but it is Sir Topham Hatt the Third.
So he's like the Führer. It doesn't matter.
It's a family thing. It's a family business on the island of Sodor. At the same... I'm sorry, I forgot to read the headline of this next section. Sodor is hostile to immigrants and new ideas.
Oh, so it's the U.S.
Yes. At the same time, Audrey created the world of Thomas the Tank Engine. England underwent massive changes and a status decline as an imperial power. The country experienced a significant increase in immigration due to World War II. As a result, areas like Nottingham and London experienced race-based tensions and civil unrest. In episodes of Thomas and Friends, like Hero Helps Out, the well-intentioned hero, an immigrant trained from Asia, sees Sir Topham Hatt growing frazzled by the sheer amount of work he must undertake. In an attempt to help out, Hero starts to give orders to the trains individually. Rather than thank his employee for his assistance, Sir Topham Hatt becomes enraged, forcing Hero to humble himself to the other trains and acknowledge his inferiority. Hero's struggle seems eerily emblematic of the negative sentiments regarding immigration expressed during Audrey's time and even today. Sodor appears regressive in more ways than just its politics. In the book, Stafford Gets Stuck, the steam and diesel engines are at a loss at how to help out the title character Stafford, an electrical engine. The island appears content with remaining technologically disadvantaged, and it sees no widespread advances even into the 80s, though this is conveyed as quaint rather than problematic. So they are refusing to use electric trains. These trains, and in a few episodes I watched, these trains are like racist towards electric trains, right? In one of the movies,
Hey, Sparky, what you doing over there?
Yeah, what you doing, Sparky?
We ain't got no electric on these tracks. You sure you on the right side of town, boy?
Sparky, come out and play! From like the Warriors with the glass bottles. And it's a train, it's like, Sparky, come out and play! And they all come down the same track. It's the electric train's like, oh no.
Sir Topham Hatt's just like freight cars. Run him into the water.
So, okay, let me bring up this. Okay, so Island of Sodor is only steam trains, right? That is the focus.
Or diesel.
Right, or diesel. Well, in one of the movies, the thing was, I believe it's a diesel. It might be an electric. And a diesel train comes to Sodor for one reason only. Because there are no other steam trains anywhere else in the world. Because the diesel trains, or was it the electric trains? I'm getting confused on my train lore. But one of the hierarchy of trains got rid of all the steam trains. This is where the genocide comes in. Canonically, this train shows up, and the reason it's here is because the original steam train is somewhere on Sodor. I think it was one of the movies. And if he were to get rid of the original steam train, all steam trains would be destroyed. They would die.
You're going with werewolf lore on this? If you kill the original, they will all die. I'm sorry, vampires.
I was about to say, I'm like, that's vampire
Vampires
lore.
is what I meant.
Werewolves, they're just a bunch of, like, yiffin' furries.
Be so fun to be a werewolf. But anyway, what?
And the thing is, I had to consume so much Thomas in the span of a week that, okay, these are the correct themes, these are the correct things that are happening, but placement might be wrong. So if we got any, train heads out there and you're like, well, that's actually not right, I apologize.
I think like the 3 people who listen to this are all like, yo, this sounds dark. We need to like check this out.
So let's talk about regressive gender politics on Sodor.
Oh, I was so gonna ask him, like, are there any like women on this island?
So the world of Thomas the Tank Engine comes up short on female characters. Those that do appear in the show are strictly coaches and never engines. Annie and Clarabelle are given to Thomas when he starts working his branch line. Those were his 2 like little cars, like little tiny cars. They were given to him.
Huh.
As opposed to the useful engines who compete for work and chores, the coaches don't have much of a role beyond keeping Thomas company. They also repeat whatever he says and appear more concerned with Thomas's usefulness than their own. The first female engine, Lady, is literally introduced as a magical force, as the idea of a woman engine is supernatural in and of itself. So that's what I'm talking about. The original steam engine is like a magical force. Another female train car, Daisy, gets depicted as vain and lazy rather than work-oriented like the male engines. The series hints at troubling parent-child relationships.
Oh, that's where the concern is?
You're like, wait a minute, what? Some readers can interpret Thomas and Friends as a story about parenting. Audrey's son Christopher, for whom Thomas the Tank Engine was created, agreed that his father saw the rail controller as a father figure and all of the engines his children. It's unsettling to consider the father and child dynamic in the world of Thomas the Tank Engine when you realize how quickly and harshly engines are punished for non-compliance. Engines gets dismantled, altered, and locked up callously. Furthermore, Sir Topham Hatt is only pleased with the engines when they follow orders and are useful. So, the world of Thomas is authoritarian, but it's unclear if it glorifies or condemns it. So after all this, let me read this. Though most critical takes agree that Thomas the Tank Engine features an authoritarian regime, they often make different conjectures about what message the show wants to convey. Sir Topham Hatt routinely disciplines his engines in harsh ways, but no one ever gets fired for their service either. So they won't get fired,
Yeah, they get killed.
They will get killed or they will be turned into something else.
I didn't know you meant to kill him, but it's okay there, Tommy. We'll just keep this our little secret.
Literally, the one who's just like, yo, keep this a secret. It's going to look bad.
Spend the night with your company and come back smiling in the morning.
So Topham Hatt is just any boss. Some pose the question of whether or not Sodor's engines exist within a union or under a monopoly. If Sir Topham
Monopoly! The guerrilla warfare would be the union.
Probably.
I'm sorry, I'll shut up and let you finish.
If Sir Topham Hatt is merely a benevolent baron, then Audrey's stories can be seen as a celebration of a well-run and orderly monopoly. I think, okay, me as a child and me with my train sets, I think this sunk in because I always had those train stations running like this. And even when my niece...
Yeah, because you were scared your parents were going to break you up if you didn't do it right.
They chop off my legs and just put me on bricks and they sit there and they're like, you know what you're good for? Making fertilizer. It's all you can do. You're going to poop in this bucket. We're going to put it on the crops.
Jesus Christ.
Where was I? I lost it. Okay, hold on. Okay, the island always runs smoothly and everyone, for the most part, gets along with one another and enjoys their job. However, if one believes the engines work as a union on a nationalized railway like England's, one may see Audrey's story as similar to an... what's this guy's name? A.Y.N. Rand. What's his name? Ayn Rand. Is that how you say it?
Ayn Rand?
Ayn Rand, whatever. Or reading was never my strong suit.
A.Y.N.? It's probably Ayn.
Ayn Rand, I think. Critique of socialism. In Atlas Shrugged, Rand portrays socialism as an overarching hindrance on individuality, competition, and technological progress, areas where Sodor falls greatly behind. Sodor, as a result of Sir Topham Hatt's influence, will likely never improve because the socialist power structure inhibits any sort of incentivized growth or reward. And that's about it. Now, not every episode was like this, but like this article, how it summarized everything, his background, and just like the key episodes.
But why would you make those episodes?
You start to see the themes and also the genocide. Yeah, there's absolutely no steam trains on anywhere else in the world. Sodor is the only place where they're at, and that train shows up to kill Lady, the miracle magic train. I think it was Diesel. I'm feeling Diesel.
This would be great as a show on Adult Swim.
Oh my gosh, it would.
It sounds like you just described an Adult Swim show from our childhood. I don't really have much to say. I don't.
With that over-looming plot, it is very much like it's really interesting to watch because then you catch other stuff and other little jabs. But all right, let's talk about the pocket dimension because that didn't talk about it. So in Thomas and Friends, one of like the last movies of Thomas and Friends, there was this train that exists, and one way I couldn't completely understand it, but like. Oh,
right,
it's another
somebody's
siren.
Dead.
Someone's dead.
That's been going off the entire time.
Someone is dead outside your house, right outside. Yeah, I'm gonna walk out there and they're like laying in front of my car. I'm like, great.
Like, can you guys move him? I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go edit this episode. I think that was a fire truck.
Yeah, that was. There's a fire station not super far away.
Yeah, it's right down the street. They're probably just helping out with that, or there's a fire. You know,
I mean, just make sure our city isn't burning to the ground.
No, I've been reading the whole time, and there's been no updates. Our city ain't burning.
Oh, joy! Because of the power outage, the sound on the TV and soundbar in my living room isn't working, so I'll have to go fix that here shortly.
Delightful.
Yay! But let's get back to the genocidal
the genocide of
Nazis.
trains.
I'm sorry, trains.
Yeah, the train. So it kind of ended up at the. This train exists in the real world, and because this train exists, there is a pocket dimension where the island of Sodor resides. Because this train exists, and that's why they consider Thomas the Tank Engine, the book series, and then Thomas and Friends different canons because they're all widely different. And it was after that the show literally kind of went off the rails, no pun intended, and the like Thomas and Friends kind of like changed and just reruns. And I don't think there's episodes going on anymore. The old ones, Thomas the Tank Engine, that's where it's at. That's where you find the good stuff.
I'm truly terrified about like the just seeing the eyes behind the brick wall. That would be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, the article didn't say he got out, but I thought he got out because it was Henry, and Henry shows up in other episodes. I think he was there for a long time, though.
He's what's the dude's name? From, I can't.
Oh, the Monte Cristo. Oh,
Tim.
You're thinking of Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. The neighbor.
Yeah, the neighbor always peeking his head.
You never saw his face.
I'm thinking the Thing of Monte Cristo, that old literature book where the guy like got revenge for something this other guy did, and he got him drunk, and then he just put him into a catacomb and built a brick wall while he's like drunk and stumbling around in there, and then he just dies in there because there's no food.
That's awesome. I mean, that's brutal, but
I think that might be the book, man. But my
the
brain
Count of
is
Monte
like,
Cristo is based. I think I saw the movie a long time ago. I never read the book.
Like my brain is just like squeezed of all this train knowledge and just dumped out everywhere.
I had lots of other knowledge. I mean, useless game knowledge, but that I was going to talk about, and now I'm just.
And some believe it's like some believe it's this weird post-apocalyptic world because. Also in the show, the faces can be popped off.
It's just Horizon Zero Dawn, but instead of like dinosaur robots, it's train robots.
Oh, all right. There has to be a mod out there since it's on PC of all the dinosaurs replaced with trains, and then it's just Thomas the Tank Engine and the human resistance fighting against the trains.
I'm laughing too much. I'm getting tired.
Like the faces. The thing is, the faces.
They're all just a stampede of trains running people over.
And the people are running, and it's just one big train just like chugging in the middle of a field, and like the alloy's running like like trying to get away from it. Yeah. It is quite the thing. I don't even know. I don't even know how to classify it.
Remember,
honestly.
children, be useful or your parents are gonna fuck you up.
I mean, I'm very lucky that isn't the case with my folks. I'm about the most unuseful person on the planet. Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna walk out of here, and Kate's there's just gonna be a brick wall right outside the door. She's gonna be like, "Yeah, I thought that was a great idea."
It's like you're not useful anymore. And
when I need you, I'll maybe I'll let you out.
Like take a few bricks out, just enough for you to crawl out, and then you get pushed back in, and then bricked back up again.
No, you go to crawl out, and she just slams you in the face with a brick. It was a test. You failed.
You failed the test. You try to get out of here. You ain't leaving. You're living in there forever.
Oh.
So that's my extended knowledge on Thomas the Tank Engine and how strange and dark it can be.
Minus like the first 10 minutes. That was like an hour of Thomas the Tank Engine.
We need more hours of Thomas the Tank Engine.
We can do a part 2 if you want.
There's nothing else. That's pretty much it.
I don't know. I still feel like we could just talk about that for a while, but...
It's all kind of circles around the same points. You can get different views and opinions in like different episodes. But like that article really made it very concise of like the main ones. And for every one episode where you like they referenced those episodes, there's at least 5 or 6 like scattered throughout the series that kind of fall line with that type of theme. Thomas the Tank Engine's dark. And you wouldn't ever think of it.
I just want to get stoned and like watch that list of episodes
and just be like, whoa, the trains are oppressed.
Dude, they're so harsh. Why don't they like fight back, man?
I think they can't fight back because they rely on the rails.
So they can never go off the rails.
No, they're trains. They're like trains, but they just got faces on them. I still have all my trains.
That's got to be so allegorical for like the oppression and like
It
big
ha-
government like
it has to
suppressing
be.
you by
And it-
giving you this lane that you have to stay in.
Yeah. Thomas the Tank Engine was deep. I remember watching it on our
No wonder we're all so messed up.
our like public broadcast channel. Like every area has their own version of that, where you have the main channel. Well, this was before everyone has everything, right?
Yeah.
You have your main 5 channels, and one of those channels was like the public broadcasting one, and that's where they would always show that. They would also always show Arthur. I don't think Arthur's that dark. I think Arthur's just pretty cool. Arthur's a good show. That's where I watched it on, and I was always like, "Yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine, woo!" Bunch of just ripped naked guys going.
I just imagine you like watching these like really dark episodes as a child and just being like, "Yes, punish the misbehavior." And your parents are just in the background like,
No, they were probably just happy. It's like, we're just glad he likes something, right? They're just like, he likes trains. That's cool. Because and since we got him out for my niece, I literally have all the trains. So I could sit there and pay, and they're wooden too. They're not like, they're like, back when they made wooden toys. You know, like that was like when they first made Thomas the Tank Engine toys, they were all wooden, and then they kind of switched over to all the like, metal or plastic.
When the plastic industry had a giant boom.
Yeah, the giant boom.
It just revolutionized manufacturing, but it also destroyed our planet.
Yeah, but I mean, man, our bank accounts are pretty full from it. I mean,
Well, not mine.
not mine, definitely not mine.
I'm just a train on the tracks.
It's so true. We're just we're trains on the tracks, and just
I'm gonna have
our
to go
system
on.
is Sir Topham Hatt, just sitting there, just being like, "Oh, if you're useful, you get rewarded." But I have all these weird stipulations.
I'm gonna have to like scream at everybody at work now. Get back in the rails, Thomas. What? Henry, shut up! No one's talking to you. Get behind your wall.
You start naming all of them after the Thomas the Tank Engine.
President of the
trains.
company comes out. Eric, some of your coworkers have, expressed concern. Shut up, What's it?
Sir Topham Hatt.
Shut up, Sir Topham Hatt.
Yeah, it's Sir Top Ham, and that's just put together and then Hat. Sir Topham Hatt.
President of my company looks like a Topham Hat. He's got the very authoritarian look.
I wonder if Sir Topham Hatt is a top or a bottom.
Bottom.
You think he's a bottom with the
Most
name like
people-
Top and how he runs?
Yes.
He's got to be a top.
Most people in power, I shouldn't say that. It's very distinct. Some people in power are so sociopathic that they need that control, so they would be a top. However, a lot of them, because it's like a quote-unquote fetish for them, they give up that power for just a minute. Because they pay, so they're still in charge, but they're like, is this what it feels like to be my subordinate?
And then he's like, maybe I like
And
it,
they're like,
maybe I
this
don't.
is, yeah, well, that's the thing, is they're like, I have so much power and responsibility. Just for 5 minutes, I want to know what it's not. And it's like, I don't care, dude. I get paid by the load, so let's go. Come on.
Paid by the load. And in the show, I distinctly even in the article it said there's not a lot of women there. It's just a lot of dudes.
I was
Now
I was
some,
waiting.
There's some ladies like
Yeah, Thomas had 2 of them.
Yeah, Thomas had 2 of them, and they always treat him like crap. But also, like, I'm talking people, because the show, the way it's made is it's not really stop motion. Like, the people never actually move. It's just like someone took a live footage of just a train set and just positioned the people and zoomed in on them when they're standing there, and then the trains would move like it would be like a model train set, and that's how the show was shot. But like there wasn't a lot of, now there was the occasional kids, boy, girl, right? But there wasn't a lot of women ever.
They had to stay home.
Dude, maybe Sir Topham Hatt is onto something. Maybe he's created this train of steam utopia with just the guys. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I had a really dark thought, but that's why he works all the men so hard, is because he just wants to be alone with the female tank engines. And if they're out working 22 hours a day, he's just like...
Sir Topham Hatt maybe has a train fetish.
Okay, maybe he is a top.
He would be a top. Where would you put that?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. It'd have to be the face. Everything else would burn you.
We're in some murky waters here.
We've stumbled into the murky swamp that is questionable thoughts and feelings. Yeah, man. But I still think Sir Topham Hatt created a society of just the bros, just the dudes. Like we were talking about earlier. Just a bunch of dudes just running train on each other.
But instead of woot woot, it's just hoot 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 hoot.
Yeah, like a frat, and they're like hoot hoot. Sounded like gorillas just like chanting, and all the trains are sitting in their little like train stalls at night thinking like, man, every night those guys just have a party. It's just every night. And the one character
they party so hard they walk bow-legged in the morning. I want to raise a pint with those fellas. Thomas just comes by. Just, no.
Another train's like, I wouldn't want to walk bow-legged. That's why I love me wheels. On the track, it's safe. On the track, we know where to go. And everyone's like, yeah.
In unison, it's like a chant. On the track, we survive. Let's get real culty with it.
It's like The Mandalorian, this is the way. But all the trains are like, this is the way.
Even in The Mandalorian, they call out spoilers for... I mean, well, you know what? No, not spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you're a loser. Watch it. But, like, they call out, like, he's part of, like, a cultish...
Oh, yeah, he's a part of it.
Because they're like, oh, yeah, you're those weirdos who never take your... Because I'm watching this, I'm like, out of all the Star Wars canon, like, this was never a thing. Like, you have to keep your helmet. That was never a thing. And then finally they're like, oh, yeah, you guys were, like, the extremists of the extremists.
Yeah, you're the crazy cult people.
They're like, you can take your stupid helmet off. Like, you just have a face underneath. It's okay.
It's okay to have a face.
They're like, but what if I'm a robot? Robots are part of our everyday life. We don't care.
I don't care. Like, trains are part of our everyday... Actually, we don't have a lot... What train... We got diesel trains around here, right? That's what they would be. They wouldn't be steam.
No, steam's been gone for...
I was going to say, like, the only steam trains are, like, the, like, antique, like, for spectacle, which is kind of like the story of Lady... In Lady's existence made a pocket dimension where the island of Sodor remained.
Maybe he was an incel. The creator. That's why there weren't many women, is he was scared of them. And he's like, they're this mythical creature that I'll never understand. Although he had a kid, but maybe it wasn't his kid. You never know.
He was a clergyman. You never know.
Oh, I keep going back to that.
He was a clergyman.
You know what? Sir Topham was just a priest who was molesting all of the child trains.
All the child trains. There isn't even... There aren't even any, like, kid trains. They all are just, like, adult. They're just born adult.
Well, yeah, he couldn't, like, sell the show of him, like, molesting child trains. So he had to make them adult.
He never molested them. He just treated them terribly and killed them.
I'm going to say, with all of the stuff that you just told me, the molesting is implied. I'm sticking to that.
As much as I want to agree with you, I don't see where.
You didn't do a good enough job. I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson later.
Right, but he just tortures them. He doesn't molest them. He just like.
Molesting is torturing.
He just takes off their wheels and puts them on some bricks. He just, lets them know you're getting scrapped tomorrow, and the train has to go around working the rest of his shift, knowing he's going to be publicly executed tomorrow.
Can't I have the day off then?
No.
You don't want to be a lazy train now, do you?
Yeah, no one likes a lazy train.
You're going to kill me! Just put me behind the brick wall. I don't care.
So, just like, today, I really hope I ruined Thomas the Tank Engine for you.
I don't know. You made it sound really cool.
Well, for you, never watching it, like, as a... You knew of it, but you never watch it. I watch that. I watch that all the time. And Sir Topham Hatt...
It was created in the 40s. Everything is messed up that came from the 40s.
Oh, definitely. Man, it will pick up those knuckle cracks and beard scratches. But like me
but
actually
not the
saying
death blaring sirens.
Yeah, or me saying an actual word into the mic, it will sometimes not go through completely. Technology is wild. Maybe we should have just all this be steam operated. I want to create. You know what? All right, this is what we'll do when we get the cult, the denim cult. We'll all go to an island and just buy a bunch of steam trains.
I'm down.
And then we will have everyone like.
We get to give them personalities, though.
Oh, definitely. What we would do is kind of like the VTuber thing, where we put a face on it and would face track some person in a building far away. So like they would like almost like go into virtual reality and be the train.
That's freaking awesome.
And I would just yell at them all day, telling them it's like, you want to be useful, right? I don't
Stay
know.
on the rails. Be useful.
Yeah, I'm like, you want
on the rails. We survive.
you want to be useful, a useful train, right, lady? And she's like, yeah, I really do. I'm like, well, I mean, Sir Topham Brandon here needs a little relief. I'm a bloody stressed volcano, you know?
It's hard work keeping everybody, useful.
I just need
Can you be useful, lady? Can you?
Zip.
just wait. Oh wow, that got real dark. It got real dark.
I'm like, can you be useful, lady? Let's see how useful you can be. and it just like news is reach. It's like that small island off the coast of, gosh, what's the island called? It's a small island that no people have ever been to, because every time there is an attempt, the people are brutally killed by the natives there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name. I'm not even going to pretend like I know.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I've heard it, but yeah,
that's totally fine. So we will build our island. It'll be Sodor 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's what we'll call it. And on the island, like, there'll be like air defense machines, but they have faces on it too.
It'll be like the Borderlands style, like you can't go beyond that area because there's gigantic guns that'll kill
but that
you.
will just surround our area, and people are like, what's going on over there? And they're like, plane flies over, and you just have one of the like anti-air guns with the face from like Thomas the Tank Engine screaming.
Yeah, oh no, it would be making those noises with its mouth as it shoots. Sir Topham Brandon, what was that that fell from the sky? Get back on the rails. Don't worry about it.
I'll handle this myself. Load shotgun with malicious intent. Just. I got a message, and I was trying to read out the message. I'm like, what did this person just send me? So, if anyone's interested in making the island of Sodor 2 Electric Boogaloo, our Buy Me a Coffee, www.buymeacoffee.com/ISIA podcast. You know how to help us out, make our dreams come true.
Please help us out. I still really want to get the denim cult going. I feel like that's an achievable goal. Like, it doesn't even have to be a real cult, although it'd be baller if it was a real cult. But we all just meet up in our denim jackets and kind of hang out.
Yeah, and then we have like Kissing Thursdays.
Yeah.
Where we all just have to kiss each other on the lips. But it's not. But we say no homo before it, so for the people who would be afraid of that, because I feel like this cult idea would bring a lot of right-wing people in here.
It's not gay. It's with the boys.
It is with the boys, like the island of Sodor.
I don't know if I'd be like, but it's okay if you're gay too.
Right. We're
all inclusive.
We are all inclusive. That's why I'm saying, just for the people who would be afraid by that, you're like, when you lean in, you're like,
they're so closeted. They do it once and they love it.
Like, you lean in super close to their ear and you're like, no homo, and then you just kiss them on the lips.
The most like sensual and erotic way. You're just at the very end. No homo. And dude's like, all right, cool.
As the dude's like. As the dude's like firmly grasp on your wiener, and you're like,
he's like, oh, okay, I'm glad you said that. I was starting to get worried for a minute there.
I was starting to get worried. At that point, I'll just be like, let's just go with it. I ain't even gonna say no homo. And the guy's like, I thought you never ask. And then it's just a very passionate night of denim, denim on denim. Too much friction, though. We start a fire.
All you hear in the background is.
With the
and then all you just hear like in chat, no homo, no homo, no homo, no homo.
Our island of Sodor cult would be the best. We had Kissing Thursdays, Taco Tuesday.
brick people up Monday.
Yeah, brick people up, brick people who like don't want to work anymore. They get bricked up behind a wall. Yeah, Count of Monte Cristo or that one episode come out, Henry. Yeah.
It's such a dark title. Come on out, Henry.
Yeah, he's been put in there. They took his tracks away. He ain't never leaving.
It's been 30 years.
I don't know if they have to eat. I believe their kind of consumption of like fuel or energy is coal to like move. There has been episodes where like I can't move because I'm out of coal.
Yeah, because you have to burn the coal to create the steam that like drives it.
So I don't necessarily think they eat, but I think they do have to function. They need coal, right? And the funny thing is, there are sometimes people who hop in the back of them and fill coal. But, like, the further the series goes on, those people kind of just disappear.
They were eaten.
They were probably eaten.
Dismembered.
Given to the train gods, the eldritch train gods.
Lady, the first steam train, needs sustenance.
She needs sustenance to exist.
Sacrifice them.
Sacrifice them to me. It's like a very central voice. All the trains are like, "Oh, hail the lady."
So they're just in like that fugue state where they're just like they don't even know what's going on, and there's just a human brutally being sacrificed
in
to
front
her.
of them, and they're like, "For the lady."
And then the next day they're like, "Wow."
Oh, I forgot to point this out with those trains. And then there is an episode where one of the first steam trains ever made comes to the island of Sodor. They don't have faces, but they still talk to everyone in toots and whistles like R2-D2, and the trains understand it. So the trains outside the island of Sodor might not have faces, but they might be sentient. Like you said, it's a demigod. Like, they all can understand it.
Next time I'm sitting at a train stop, I'm just going to be like, I don't like this. As it's going in front of me, I'm going to be like, on the rail we survive. And then I hope if I do that and the horn honks, they just do it out of nowhere. I'll be like, yes, it's real. Just call you up, Brandon, you're not going to believe this.
The trains, they're alive. And at that point, I'm just like,
I don't know if we should join them or kill them.
Oh, no. Well, there's not many trains left. The Sparkies have taken over a lot of the world, so the trains we got around here wouldn't.
Oh. Soulless.
I mean, we could join them in guerrilla warfare combat, but
I'd be down.
I'd be down for that. Yeah.
I'm going to take out Sir Topham myself.
I'll kill Sir Topham Hat, and then I'll be the top.
Yeah, and then I just replace it with an even more brutal rain.
Right. What if that's how, like, the position is taken? It's like a Highlander kind of thing, where the train conductors kill each other, and they always take the title of Sir Topham Hat, even though they're not related.
There's the Shadow Broker from Mass Effect.
They just kill him and just take over the position, and like the trains are in the yard doing their thing, and they look over and they're thinking, "Oh, Sir Topham Hat looks different. Yesterday he was bold.
This
now
one he looks much younger today." No talking.
Oh, sorry, my lord.
He's still a British jackass. I guess he's still the leader.
I don't remember Sir Topham Hat being a ginger. That's weird. And then that train gets dismantled in front of everyone. And the trains learn that when Sir Topham Hat changes, you don't ask questions. You don't reference it. It's the same Sir Topham Hat. It just might be a new incarnation, like Doctor Who, when it goes through his transformation every time. My brain has been soaked like a sponge. Drained like a sponge, squeezed out. All this train knowledge is gone.
Yeah, mine absorbed it all because everything I had, it's just gone.
Now you know how I've been feeling for the past
I'm just going to be
week.
Googling Thomas the Tank Engine lore until like 2 a.m. tonight after I fix the soundbar.
Finding the eldritch horror that is Thomas the Tank Engine. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. You got a soundbar to fix. I got some eldritch train knowledge to go catch up on. So we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. As always, stay safe. We love you guys.
On the rails, we survive.
On the rails, we survive.